Welcome to my film review of The Mule. So I've just been to see The Mule. It's a Clint Eastwood film and it's one of his specialties where he directs it and also stars in it. I hadn't heard much about this film, hadn't heard any reviews. It didn't seem to have too many showings on either at the cinema, so I was thinking, is it a bit of a flop movie? So I had a quick look at the biography, not the biography, the details of what the film's about. And basically, as the name suggests, it's about a guy who's doing drug runs. So for those who don't know, a mule is a nickname for somebody who does drug runs. So basically, you carry the drugs from point A to point B, and I guess the nickname came from the fact that a mule is a workhorse animal that generally carries a load of stuff for you. In this case, what is being carried is narcotics, and it's got Clint Eastwood in. One thing I didn't know is it had Bradley Cooper in. I didn't read too much about when I read what the film was about. It started to get into the details, and as soon as it started to get into the details, I was like, no, I don't want to know. And I thought, right, okay, it's about an old guy, Clint Eastwood, who, for whatever reason, does some drug runs. So I thought, that'll do for me. And I'm glad I watched it. It was very good, really enjoyed it. So my expectations going into the movie were, it's a Clint Eastwood film, so it's not going to be your classic Michael Scorsese, type drug run movie like Blow or whatever other movie you might want to think of that involves that kind of plot. I expected it to be Clint Eastwood-esque, which for me is quite a slow-paced movie, almost like a Western style. No, that might sound a little bit stereotypical, but that's kind of what I expect from a Clint Eastwood film. Slow-paced, like I say, not Michael Scorsese, basically. So that was my expectations going into the movie, and I would say that the movie completely lived up to my expectations. I was happy with it. I went in there expecting a relaxed movie, and that's exactly what I got. But at the same time, just because it was relaxed, it wasn't at all boring. Not for a second. It was about 2 hours long, I think, the movie, and not for a second did it feel boring. In fact, I think it was 1 hour and 50 minutes when I looked at the clock from when the movie finished. 1 hour and 50 minutes long. And yeah, it worked for me. I really, really enjoyed it. So whether or not this movie is for you will depend. Do you generally like Clint Eastwood movies? Do you like Clint Eastwood as an actor? Because if you don't, you're probably not going to like this movie. Do you like the idea of watching a movie that's to do with a guy who does drug runs? That's all you need to know. Is that the kind of movie that you would like to see? I can't tell you whether or not, this would be for everybody. I think you need to ask yourself, is that the kind of movie you might be interested in? Now, I did notice as I was leaving the audience that a lot of the people were old-timers, probably in their 60s. But then that would be the natural appeal of a Clint Eastwood movie, I guess. I know my dad, for instance, any movie with Clint Eastwood in, and he's going to want to watch it. So I'd ask myself, is this the kind of movie that my dad would like? And I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm kind of a little bit unsure exactly what the broad appeal would be. I think you've just got to ask yourself the question. If you don't like Clint Eastwood, don't go and see it. If you're not interested in watching a film that's to do with drugs and cartels, don't go and see it. Like I say, it's not like Blow. It's not like your action-packed, all guns blazing, shootout, people getting killed, blah blah blah. It's a Clint Eastwood, slower-paced, happy, joyful movie, and I really enjoyed it. I'm wondering whether giving it an 8 out of 10 would be a little bit too generous, but I don't think it would. So I'm gonna go give it a solid even 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed it, and it delivered on everything that I expected and more. It was slightly better than I expected it to be honest. I was very pleased with how the movie and the storyline developed. I didn't have any expectations other than, like I say, it's to do with a guy moving drugs from one place to another, from A to B, and that was all I expected. And it was good. It was really good. Yeah, so 8 out of 10. Do you need to see it at the cinema? Well, quite simply, this is a movie that works just as well at home, on your sofa, or curled up in bed as what it does on the big screen. You do not need to go and see this on the big screen to get the maximum out of it. It's not your visually spectacular scenes or anything like that. So yeah, you can just watch it at home if you're patient. But if you're a movie lover and you love going to movies, particularly if you've got a Cineworld pass and you can go to as many as you want, like me, definitely go and see it at the cinema. Definitely worth a watch. It might be ending quite soon. At the moment it seems like there's only one show a day at my cinema house, but it is one show a day for the foreseeable. So yeah, definitely go and see it. Would I pay a full £10? No, I'd think, it's the kind of movie where you can wait till it comes out on DVD. It's not going to hurt to wait, 6 months and then go and buy it for a tenner on DVD. Spend the £10 buying it on DVD. That's what I'd probably say. But if you can go for a couple of quid, £3 or £5, buy one get one free. You take somebody else who you think would like this kind of a movie. It's slow paced, it's chilled out, it's relaxed, but at the same time very enjoyable. So I hope that helps you decide whether or not you should go to the cinema to see it. In terms of where to sit, I sat as close as I usually would. I don't think it matters too much where you sit on this one. You could probably sit at the very back and enjoy it just the same, because there's no huge scenes, that are spectacular to be seen up close, etc, etc. So it doesn't matter where you sit. It wasn't the loudest of movies in terms of my new feature, which is should you eat popcorn or ice cream. I would say this is probably okay for popcorn because of the length and the chilled out pace of the movie makes it okay for popcorn. It wasn't overly quiet, but at the same time it wasn't an overly loud movie either, so you can get away with popcorn on this one while it is still relatively quiet paced, not too loud and explosive type movie. But you could get away with popcorn on this one, that's for sure. What else do we need to hit? So we're giving it an 8 out of 10. We've discussed whether or not you need to see it at the cinema. We've discussed where you need to sit. We've discussed whether or not to eat popcorn. So the fifth and final of my tests is, do you need to hang around till the end? Well, not surprisingly, no. There's nothing at all at the end of this one. In fact, what surprised me was the part of the movie before the end credits actually came up, people were already leaving. Now that always surprises me. Don't get me wrong, there wasn't anything overly exciting going on, but there was still people on screen moving around, there was still stuff happening, and people were leaving, which I find totally weird. That to me says, I cannot wait to get out of here, I'm being held here against my will, I don't want to be here, God, I can't wait to leave. Not, I've paid money to be here, I want to get every ounce of value that I possibly can. That baffles me when people are so keen to leave so quickly. But anyway, once the credits roll, that's it, job done, film over. Now, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm not going to say, you know, it was like must-see movie or anything like that, but my approach to movies is I love films. I absolutely love watching movies. I would give a movie 7 out of 10 as long as it's decent and watchable. It doesn't have to be amazing, you know? So bearing in mind, I really enjoyed this movie, but I am a film lover. To put it into some context, as I was walking out with some of the more elderly viewers, I did listen out. I thought, I'll see what these guys think, see what kind of comments they were. And one lady actually says, "Will, that's the worst film I've ever seen." And I thought, oh. But then very quickly another lady piped up and was saying, "Oh, no, you know, she was about to defend it, sort of thing." So it probably divides opinion slightly. And I think purely it's down to, would you be interested in watching a movie that's got to do with Clint Eastwood and his moving drugs from A to B? If that's the kind of movie that you just don't think you'd be interested in, don't go and watch it. I mean, that's pretty much what I'd say to my mum and dad. My dad would probably enjoy it because he just loves Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood is excellent in this. He really is. He's I say he's a joyful character. He's actually not at all a joyful character, but he is what he is. He plays the part of an old person, and some of the things that he does kind of make you laugh. I'll give you a broad example, like his you know, lack of comprehension with modern technology and smartphones, for instance. You know, things like that I really enjoyed and found you know, put a little smile on your face. So those are the kind of things that I think my dad would enjoy from the movie. The fact that Clint Eastwood's in it and he plays a good part, and my dad can probably relate to a lot of what Clint Eastwood would say, you know, regarding being old in a modern world. No offense, Dad, you're not that old, but you know what I mean. Whereas my mum would probably have the opinion, she's not a movie watcher, she likes to read. My mum would be of the opinion, if I was sat at home, I would have got my book and I would have just read my book, you know. So I don't know. It's definitely divisive as to whether or not this movie is going to please you or not. Personally, like I say, it's my cup of tea. It was about a drug run, you know, moving drugs from A to B. It's got Clint Eastwood in it. It wasn't what I was expecting, but at the same time, it kind of did deliver on what I expected in terms of the pace and how the movie and the storyline developed. I was actually really pleased with. Wasn't what I was necessarily expecting, but then I hadn't really set too much expectation towards what I was expecting. But nevertheless, I was pleased with the movie. I enjoyed it. I like the movie Blow, and trying to think any other drug-related movies. Can't think of any right now, but I love the movie Blow. That's all-time classic for me. You know, so have a think about that, and you should be able to understand whether it's for you or not. But if you just love going to the cinema and you like movies, this is definitely one to give a watch. I don't think there's a great deal out there right now that's better. There's the Lego movie, there's How to Train Your Dragon. It's all very good if you've got kids, but if you're an adult looking for a movie, that's probably worth a watch. It's probably one of the most worthy watches out there right now, aimed for the adults. So that's pretty much all I can say to sum up The Mule. Very much enjoyed it myself, never felt bored, enjoyed the pace, enjoyed how the storyline developed. It was just the right length, wouldn't have wanted to be much longer, didn't feel it needed to be any shorter. Another really good effort from Clint Eastwood, and for me a huge bonus about the fact that Bradley Cooper was in it, because for me Bradley Cooper is just one of the best actors going right now. He's an absolute legend. Really like him. And then it also had some other actors that I was familiar with from other films. It's obviously they're dealing with Mexican people, who are, you know, facilitating the drug run, and a lot of the Mexican type characters you were very familiar with, like I'd seen in other films, and really like, oh, I know him, oh, I know him, oh, I know him. So that was really good. So yeah, loved it. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, good solid 8 out of 10. Give it a watch. Let me know what you think, and also feel free to let me know what else you've been watching at the cinema lately, because there's been a lot out recently, and there's a lot of really good films coming up soon too as well. So let me know your thoughts. Look forward to hearing you, and see you on the next review. Bye bye.